I used to believe as a kid that when someone passed away and you went to heaven, an angel would wheel out an old TV, like a substitute teacher would at school, and pop in a VHS copy of all your life's memories. Because I was 12 and puberty affects everyone differently, and for me it was like, oh, let's do Christianity but with a bit of a twist. Because when I was younger I remember I used to speak to God like every day. Now I don't, it's just like someone I used to go to school with. I just used to think angels were everywhere, just filming everything, like flies on the walls. Well, they weren't flies, they were angels. They weren't on the walls because of manners. I remember accidentally swearing once at school in the playground and just immediately looking up and saying sorry, presumably for when my parents got there, and God showed my parents the footage. Like some sort of intergalactic parents' evening. He's been a naughty little boy when he was 11. We often just spend evenings staring up at ceilings, like refining what we'd like to say to people. And so I think I just like the idea of finding a way to capture those sort of sleepless nights, refining imaginary monologues and practicing these speeches in the darkness and hoping that creak of the floorboard was actually an angel making notes of it to share it all later. Because you never really know who someone is when they're alone.
Hello?
But with this sort of system, I was 12, I thought, well, at least there was a way for people to finally know that, who you really were, and also you could just relive every moment of your life again. Now I'm saying it just sounds, every moment, sounds a bit like torture, just this quite miserable library of taped evidence. But as a kid I thought it was quite cool, because it is quite hard to say things sometimes, like if you didn't know how to put something into words, instead you could just put it into the future, later, lovely bit of later. So this way I think I liked it. Eventually the things you were unsure how to say would get there. Or if you knew the words but you still needed courage, if you couldn't say them now, they would hear it one day, just on delay. Someone later on tracing their finger along the static lines of the paths they never knew. So I think we all like the idea of someone watching over us. I feel like the reason we don't hear much from God is because he sees so many things. It's like when you sort of see someone crying and you're not really sure exactly what to say to make that better. Or when someone's being so nice, everyone's singing happy birthday and you don't really know what to do, so you sort of just sit there in silence for a bit. Must be awkward being an angel, just looking over someone. I had to look over someone's script at university the other day and I didn't really know what to say. I was just like, yeah, it's good, no, it's good, yeah. I'll keep going. Like, I can't even really remember if I actually believed that or if it was just something I sort of liked the idea of, which I guess is believing in a way. And also you could probably just see that, oh, maybe I shouldn't have tried to grow a beard. Does it make me look hotter? Absolutely, yeah. The lower third of my face has given up. It's just the way life's panned out. It's dealt me a hairy hand. Beardy goatee business. Beardy boy. I just wanted to try it out and it hasn't been a fan favourite for the ones close at heart. Close at heart, not close at beard. Tell me this isn't real. Which sounds like, yes, I just received devastating news. Tell me this isn't real. So those are just, you know, a few, and that's what's great about family. Yeah, it's a democracy. Everyone feels like they can have a say.
What? Ryan's got his phone, yeah. Ryan, do you have your phone? No. 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 We're fine. I can't hear what you're saying anyway. It's too far to have a conversation. That's too far. We're like 2 fields away. That's insane. What? 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 Is that them? Wave, because you hit me in the head with your coat. We're going through a tunnel.
Hello?
Hello.
You're alive, yeah?
Yeah, I'm alive, yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
You're right.
thank you. You alive?
You have a nice... Yeah, just about.
I'm just standing in front of a big old window now. Would it be nice if they'd give me a little curtain just to cover up the whole world. Fella over there's come back. He thinks I'm putting on a bloody play for him. People walk past. It makes me feel like I'm in the wrong. They look up and they like catch me living up here. I've seen things, man. I've seen things. My neighbour putting his kettle on. He sees me walking out of the shower and I forget a towel. It's not a fair exchange. Not that I want a fair exchange. I'm quite happy just seeing him put his kettle on. Not a euphemism. I don't know what that would even be a euphemism for. I'm just going to stop talking. I'm obviously just going to have to keep this big old main one shut. Presumably the world's just going to stop existing now. And instead of sunlight, I'll have darkness. Going back and forth between university and home can be strange, especially because when you're back at home, you do feel, things feel different, obviously. You feel like an adult that's apparently murdered a child and is still allowed to stay in that child's bedroom. Got all the same memories as the kid. How to Draw Everything. Used to love this book. It's a worryingly thin book now, though. How to Draw Everything. Got everything in there, even abstract concepts. Like fear, mum. And soon, shame. I drew a little house for it to live in. Because of that, like, combination of old and new things, though, my DVD collection, it does sort of look like it belongs to an experiment. Like, it's someone with no obvious taste. Freaky Friday. They spoil it in the title. Just call it Friday. A few more surprises. Next to that, we got Passion of the Christ. Which, that would have still made sense if it had the same title, Freaky Friday. This is where I sleep, where I go to bed. I go to bed. Bed is a destination. What'd you do at the weekend, Miles? Did you go anywhere nice? Me and my brother actually used to have a secret base under this bed called DBA. Stupid Boys Association. What's this? It's whole game.
So I'm here, and then cleverly you'll cut.
Get in the hole.
How could two people...
So that's Miles there.
And then the descent, and I'm already done.
What's this backpack?
I don't know what the backpack
Have you got a light?
No.
You can't even see my face.
I can.
Look, this was my corner down here, remember?
Yeah.
Remember? Right, then you can come in. This is doing my neck in.
But we'd spend hours
No,
there.
we don't.
Would we spend hours
Oh,
there?
we don't.
How long would we normally spend in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
How young were we? And had you started YouTube yet? Because I think
No, it was much. It was before YouTube. DBA was our YouTube. We sat in a dark hole.
I must have been like 9. You probably were like 5.
No, that's too young to be that in like forming societies. I think I was. Yeah, I must have been 10. I think I was 10 and you were 14. I don't think 5-year-olds are under there. Trust me. I don't think. I want that on the record. No, but I don't think I was ever 5 and under there. Any other weird?
Great little anecdotes when we were young. Not
Yeah.
really, for us. Boring for everyone else to listen.
It's fun. I'm trying to think of
Remember I sat on your handbag?
I was just going to say that. I found this old photo album as well, full of photos, obviously. What else would it be full of? Bees! Whenever we used to go on holiday, like my parents used to give me a disposable camera, a bloody regular old disposable Daniel. I was snapping and winding on. Disposable because the photos were on disposable camera, not because I myself am disposable. Even though I did spend so long trying to take that photo, you can see in the background there was a group decision to move on as a family without me. You guys going? They're gone. Can I spend Christmas with you, Shadow Men? My dad and brother there, and everything else on the planet. Some say it's still walking. To make it wider, I'll loop back round soon. We'll bump into each other. We'll have a chat. Oh, there's a shark. This picture of me as a baby having a bath. I won't show you that one. I'm looking at a naked baby and it's me. That naked baby in the bath is an adult now. You stay in a bath for too long, you get all wrinkly like an old man. You stay in a bath for really too long, and you actually become an old man, eventually. Seems like such a photo album favourite, a baby's first bath time, and then there's another bath time, but this time they've got a big bushy beard made of soaps. But eventually someone calls that a day, and is like, we've got enough of that, surely, of that memory, haven't we, now, to last us? I don't know who's saying that, but surely someone is, evidently, because the photos stop. My nan doesn't just keep turning the pages forever. Oh, look at him, that one. When was that? Last Thursday. 20-year-old man standing still in the shower. Keep going. 40, 60, 80, 90. That was his last bath. He made it look like he's got a big bushy beard made of soaps. It would be weird, but, you know, we're all family. It'd be relatively weird, yeah.
Smile.
There we go, nice little trip down memory lane. Don't go down there at night by yourself. It's dark.
What shall I talk about? Got any ideas? What I could talk about? Anything?
Feels like the gravity's wearing out.
Does anyone remember where we parked our home?
University is good though. As cliche as it is when people say you find yourself at uni, I agree. My gap year ended, I didn't know what else I would do, so I found myself at university.
Oh, what's happening? There's a human in here!
You join me in the middle of a battlefield scenario.
How was your day?
I'm enjoying life. I wouldn't say I'm loving life. A lot of things I hate are in life, but at the same time I don't think I'd ever say I hate life. Because again, I am in life and life might hear, and that might seem a little bit rude.
I hate your house.
You got to try and stay positive about things. I read a book. He's read a book. He's going to solve everything now. He's read a book. Shouldn't say that too loudly around trees. Feels a bit insensitive. But yeah, all the family on my father's side, they're recipe books now.
Well, my uncle, he's part of a newspaper. He's the crossword page, which we all kind of thought was a bit funny when we found out, because he was always swearing.
Never really got on with my sister. She's a leaflet now, so, you know, much like our relationship, I can take it or I leave it. I don't know if you've heard of YouTubers, but there was about 200 more trees around here last week. Yeah, I mean, I guess sometimes you can't help but wonder where it's all going to end up. I don't think I ever would, but I've found myself thinking quite a lot about self-publishing. It was a book about happiness, all big, and the first page said, happiness isn't made, it's created. And I stopped reading there because those words mean the same thing. The next page said, I didn't buy my thesaurus, I purchased it.
Oh, that's so sad.
It was just like how you make the best out of a bad situation in life. Which was good, but the book did have like subsequent sequels.
Like, I haven't really regretted anything in life, I don't think. Apart from a lot, actually.
Apart from a lot?
I mean, yeah.
Did you say apart from a lot?
Well,
What do you
everything's fine
regret?
until you remember things.
It was about love as well. So I used to quite like someone once. All gossip. That was chapter 4 in the book. I didn't say anything about my feelings though, because sometimes I just feel like if I try to say what I really feel, I might actually die.
Why am I slapping myself? Ah!
I think that's what was trapped there. I think we're just sitting on a bunch of trash.
Because I like this person, this human, lovely, living. Don't say they live. Don't specify. It makes it sound like there's a plot twist on its way. I was at a party, and then someone came up to me and said, "Yeah, that person you like, they feel the same way." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool." I don't really know what to do with this information now, because it's. I guess it's sort of over now, isn't it? Because I can't just sort of go up to someone and tell someone I feel something. I sort of just process that event, like purely informationally. I understood it. And maybe I'll process it emotionally a few years later, unwillingly. Oh, is this a window of opportunity? Shut the window. I'm getting a bit cold, buddy. Just keep it all sort of in one place, otherwise it all gets messy. Just sort of think your thoughts, feel your feelings, word your words. Rome wasn't built in a day. Don't put all your legs in one basket.
I just remember 2 of my friends started dating each other recently, and they were like so perfect for each other. Everyone was like, "Oh, this is the most lovely and obvious thing ever," because they're so sort of, you know, perfect for each other. And then they broke up, and we were like, "What the fuck?" I thought that was true love. I thought they were going to be together forever. And I was like, "Oh, the person you stay with forever, that's probably just, you know, the person you die with last."
Everyone is like a genie in the world. We all have the ability to make anything possible. We just have to make the difficult journey from a feeling to a thought to then making that thought have words. Putting noise behind that feeling. And that's in a 3-step process. There's a lot that can get lost in translation. I could be feeling, I'm feeling like a pizza tonight. And then you think about it, well, is a pizza the best option? And then you end up saying, can I have a bag of carrots, please? I mean, although that was the worst thing I've ever said, it kind of acted as a good example of what I was trying to say. A lot can go wrong. Because who you are by yourself is very different to who you are in public. To protect yourself.
They look like onions.
Vampires?
Oh, are they onions?
Let's go, like.
It's hard to always say the right thing. I was on a bus the other day, and as I got off, I gave the driver a little wave, and I said, "Thanks, Mum. Thanks, Mum." It's hard to talk to people sometimes. And to skeletons. They're just like you, not very comfortable in their own skin. That's alright. Yeah. So they left their skin, only to find they still weren't very comfortable in their own bones. Probably went deeper, waited for their bones to wear down. I'm still not very comfortable in my own pile of dust. Everywhere. As humans, we're very good at keeping things down. Even when people are trying to look out for us, it's hard to just sit and talk. It's the start of my chat show. Welcome to the Fog. I had an interview for a job last week working with horses, and halfway through it I just started crying, and the guy was like, "We're sorry, but we can't give you this job because we can just tell you're not a stable boy."
New messages.
Hi Miles, it's your landlord. Just a message position for the next 10. Just a reminder to always check your reviews help.
Come in, have a look. Come on!
Delete, press 3.
No, it's fine. No, but yeah, everything's clean. Yeah, it's fine. Bathroom's clean.
Gotta make sure that is always locked. Because my landlord said he won't be able to help us if we lock ourselves out.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no.
I locked myself out.
Oh, no. Try and guess what I've just done.
He could guess what I'd done.
Oh, no.
And soon we could all guess what I had done. Even now in the voiceover, just sitting downstairs in the living room, only 30 minutes after it's happened. We're still coming to terms with it. I don't want to bog the voiceover. I don't want to bog it down too much, but I just left my keys on the side. I was filming something for this video. I just wanted a shot of me opening my door. And that backfired, didn't it?
Oh. That's big. How do I...
Oh wait, oh, I see the problem.
Why were you saying oh no if you didn't realise? No.
Oh, shit. Definitely in there?
Yes.
You know what they say, when one door closes...
We might be able to get in the window.
That hasn't worked. When you find yourself in a situation, that was a stutter, but I've also made up a new word. A situation. Try lots of things. Try your friend's keys in the door.
No.
And give it 2 tough tugs. Elliot got his saw out.
What are you doing? Put that down.
Told him to put his saw down.
Maybe if we just...
Trick it.
Hello?
Why don't you trick the door?
Miles, can you let us in, please?
Miles, can I come in? Miles.
Miles?
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 Miles!
Where's Miles gone?
And then finish it all off with one of your big lays.
I've been so scared to do that for so long. Every time I shut my door, I'm like...
Alright, give the landlord a call. I'll call him and say, hello, it's Miles here. Sorry to bother you, but unfortunately, I've been an idiot. I'm sorry. Can you help?
Can you be my dad? I need a dad right now.
Hello, you're right. Sorry to bother you. I was just giving you a call to say, unfortunately, I've been an idiot. Because, you know, we've got keys to our doors. Unfortunately, I've made the silly mistake of closing my door with my key on the other side. Sorry about that. Sorry again. Yeah, he's away for the weekend.
Oh no.
Guess I just start my new life outside the door now. That's how we start measuring life now. Before and after door. Lovely door. Nice door. Couldn't have happened to a nicer door. I don't know what could be happening behind the door. Now that I'm not there, anything could be happening. How would I know? It's gonna be my landlord calling me back. God, it's my bedroom.
Yeah? Yeah?
Oh no, this isn't good. Alright, don't worry, no worries.
Sure, everything's fine.
No worries about it, man. Alright.
To replay the message,
Oh.
press 1. To replay the message, press 1. To replay the message,
Thanks, man.
I can't let anyone in. I can't let anyone in.
It is annoying. I got everything behind that door. Laptop. Everything. Oh no, I know it sounds like I'm just going on a bit now, but I was speaking to someone the other day at university about a similar thing though, because I bought a DVD, and I was complaining about it. I bought this DVD that had a real lack of decent bonus footage on, and this person I was with said, oh, first world problems, which annoyed me a bit, because I thought, well, if you gave a DVD with no bonus footage on to a kid in poverty-stricken Africa, he would be pissed off as well. Give him water! It's like you're able to have the capacity to care and be upset about multiple things at once. Just because I'm annoyed there's not a director's commentary doesn't also mean in the same sentence I'm saying, and also I love poverty. I want bloopers, and for famine to end. I got stopped in the high street the other day by people who were raising like awareness for global warming, and they had a guy who was dressed up as a big fluffy polar bear with them, which was obviously quite like a stark, adorable reminder of all the horrible things going on in the world. And it did make me realise it is one of the few causes where you can have a mascot. Further down the street, they were raising money for an AIDS charity, and they'd strictly just kept with the clipboards. The guy came up to me and said, do you want to stop global warming? And I said, yes, let's do it. So I gave him my email address, and I think everything's fine. Although it is annoying just waiting to be let back in, like a cat, I thought, well, at least this is a cat with an anecdote now, because I was at a party, and I thought, well, yeah, good little story. I guess I'll let you be the judge of whether I was wrong to think that. And then I didn't even think, I just shut it, and I went, and now I'm on the other side, looking like a fool. You probably know, you got a door?
Yeah, got a door.
These things happen though, don't they? They shouldn't. Look at us talking like a couple of door boys, aren't we? Boys with doors. Dudes with doors. Aren't we? Let me in! No one in there though.
Great.
I loved that chat.
It's phenomenal.
That was fantastic.
Really great.
Phenomenal.
It's the anecdote, a slice of my life. It's the anecdote, you could cry if you like. It's the anecdote, no lies, it's just Mike. It's the anecdote.
How are you doing, you alright?
Yeah, no, it's okay. My mum died last week.
Fuck.
It's the anecdote.
I think the best time I've ever had at a party was when I fell down the stairs at one, which is a hard thing to style out, falling down a whole flight of stairs. Unless by the bottom stair you have died. And I just stood up, and I had the best night of my life that night, because I was almost so embarrassed, there was nothing more to be embarrassed about. I'd been almost reborn, I was dusting myself off, blood everywhere, calling an ambulance, I've been reborn. People would see me at my lowest point, at the bottom of the stairs. There was nothing more to be lost. And I just sort of walked around and had such a good night. Enjoyed the rest of the party with an almost homicidal sense of calm.
Yeah.
Not usually as good at parties though. The next day, I accidentally mistook a hello for a conversation. And I'm actually still there trying to wrap it up.
Ow. Oh, shit.
Pinky and the brain.
Did the door just open?
Brain. Yeah, I think we're getting mugged.
Hello? The door definitely opened.
It's probably Elliot.
No, he's in Wales.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, we're getting mugged.
Yeah, I think we are. Hello? I think we're getting mugged. Better sing this loud. Elliot? Oh, it's Elliot. It's Elliot. It's in the toilet. How are you?
I'm going to get out in a sec. It's a bit weird talking through a door.
Is it?
You and your camera are like a dysfunctional couple who getting back together.
I'll have to put subtitles on that.
Did you even understand it?
It's like a dysfunctional. We're like a dysfunctional couple trying to get back together.
So who keeps splitting up and getting back together?
Like I pick my camera up for a week and I'm like, right, I'm gonna film everything,
Mm.
and then something happens and I'm like,
I'm never gonna film again.
but I still love it.
And I'm not sure when I get back.
I don't know, I might go home for the weekend. It's nice to sort of go back home where people know you from before.
When you open it, you get transported into a magical world.
Can always sort of be reset. And also you can see I made sure to shave, so there was no family beard incident.
It does look better without the glasses.
That looks much more grown up.
That? Oh no.
Don't you think?
That's a good grown up.
No, that's a young.
No.
Clothes,
Just don't. Just these talking voice.
It turns out, didn't even realise we're going away with extended family for the weekend to the old countryside. Family holidays in the middle of nowhere. Just in case any of us snap over a game of Uno. No one will discover the scene for weeks. Train of flipping out. I was going to say train of thought was going through my head or something, and I tripped down a hole, so it kind of ruined it. If I kept this in, it would ruin it.
You know, the next time if we kept walking.
Oh, mate.
Oh, meat.
So cold.
He's my friend. I call him Meat.
Oh, mate. Hello, mate. Hello, mate. I don't know what that was about. So we set off on the motorway to the countryside, miles and miles of motorway, sitting in traffic, and I couldn't help but think, well, if the motorway wasn't here, we'd already be in the countryside by now. Is this where Stonehenge is?
It's a bit further up.
You can try and pass the time, maybe just by looking out the window and seeing what the world has to offer you today. Oh, there's a dead thing! That's horrible!
Oh, there you go. Stonehenge. It's a badger.
Is it a badger? Is it a badger?
It's a badger.
They don't look like sheep from back here, do they?
So you're getting Stonehenge?
I'm getting Stonehenge, mother!
Oh, look at it all.
So I've seen Stonehenge now, tick that off the bucket list. You may say, oh, it doesn't count, Mars, if you have to squint to see it from the motorway. Well, no, actually, because on my bucket list, it was to see Stonehenge from the motorway, so... I'll start sending postcards from places I didn't quite get to. Yeah, we saw this, we didn't bother getting any closer, we thought of you. Cheers. Postcards from a distance, just the tip of a building.
It looks like the Eiffel Tower, just the tip.
Hello. A view you have to drink to, only because it makes you too anxious to look at it sober. A beautiful mountain climb that knackers you out so much you end up just primarily looking down at the steps. Lovely steps, you say. These are good steps. I'm glad I'm seeing all these thousands of steps. Wish you were here. Although if you did actually end up coming here, we probably would have left by then. But a few hours later, with a sack full of ham and a mind full of sand, we got lost.
We're doomed.
Because we don't know where we are.
We don't live
Can you not just go and ask?
You can't just ask.
You can just knock on the door and ask.
We've invaded someone's house. We're just in someone's land.
Good luck, Dad.
Never saw Dad again.
What's he gonna say when he knocks on the door?
Hello, countryman.
That's a big adventure.
Probably think Dad's like a dodgy door.
Is there anyone in?
No. Got a lot of cars here for no one being in.
It's kind of ghostly, guys. I'm just gonna say it.
Ghost sleeves.
No, do they? Does a ghost have a sleeve, guys? No.
No tricks up their sleeves.
Careful.
Oh, here they are.
Yep. Oh no, people who own the
It's the
house.
worst thing that's happened. We didn't just break into your home.
Oh no.
What did I used to be in our house?
They were probably surprised. And here we are.
Is it? Are we sure this isn't some person's house?
Let's make sure. As soon as the door opens, that country smell whiffs in.
Oh, are you smelling that?
Genuine, the worst smell.
That is a terrible smell.
It's lovely, isn't it? Look, shoes and willies. Whose shoes and willies are here? Has someone either left wellies, or is that from other people who are living here amongst us? We can't see them. Are we both living two lives at the same time? Who knows, guys? Just some suggestions I'm throwing out. There's a swimming pool.
Good thing about the countryside is you can sort of just come here and just take a moment, clear your mind. Oh yeah, that's done it. That's done it now, that's amazing. In the house we're staying at, there's an inspirational message that says, "Friends are the family we choose ourselves," which is a nice reminder that as a family, none of us have a choice. What else I got? Anything? Shopping list, pasta, party poppers and washing up liquid. It's some sort of alien chef cooking that recipe. Even my to-do lists, I try to like break them down into like subcategories of subcategories of subcategories, just so I never really have to move on. Instead of just washing up, you know, break it down. Wash knife, wash fork, wash second fork, wash a spoon, wash another spoon. By the end of the day, you feel like the busiest man on earth. Your brain is buzzing with productivity. And yeah, really, you've just been washing cutlery. But your brain doesn't know that. You've hacked your brain. This isn't even the first time I've come back home after the door incident. And each time I've come back home, I've been trying to film more with my camera. And each time, it's just more stuff off the floor with all the conversations I've been trying to get just on the edges.
Let's just go down there.
Yeah, add it to it.
I used to look at it.
How could I do this so easily once? I'm building up a real fun collection over here of moments I've missed. Maybe I already know all the words I'm going to regret not saying. Like I used to have that photo album full of photos that I used to take. Now I just, you know, have an album of photos I never took. Do you remember that one? No. Oh, look at that. That would have been a lovely one of us.
I'm not.
Well, you came back from the future and you were like recording important things to find out where
I am. I just started watching a really good documentarian. He was like views life in a really.
Rather cutting cake.
It used to be simpler. Ugh, I don't know what I'm saying.
Ugh, I'm even boring myself.
I haven't for a while, but usually every year I try to sort of make a video for the Project for Awesome, which is like a yearly sort of charity event where YouTubers make videos on causes they care about. For mine, I tried to talk about like Parkinson's disease because my dad has it, and I tried to sort of interview him. This is my dad.
Hello.
Yo, yeah, that'll do.
No.
Do you want to do it again?
It's been 2 years since our last chat. 2 years. I was 16. You were
21.
Yeah, Ryan, could you just come here and hold the...
Stand there, right, sit on that chair. No, sit on that chair.
Get the whole family's involved now.
No, sit on that chair, right, because I can hold it to the side.
That's fine, I can do that.
Okay. No, I can't read down. It's really high. Look, why don't we put it on something?
No, that's fine.
Mum? My right side seems completely unwilling to do what I wanted to do. What my brain is telling it to do, really. Movement seems to be more juddery. But conversely, the good times seem to be gooder. Better.
Seems to be gooder. Should we go? Should we make a run for it?
When I got back to the house, it wasn't very well. My mum was speaking to me in the hallway upstairs about it. And I had my camera out, and I've just been meaning to film us chatting more. Because in the other videos, I never felt I really showed what it was really like. People I care about and the things they say and feel. I want to be able to show us those things back. And I was upstairs, and with my mum, she was speaking to me, and my finger just brushed the record button, and I just stopped filming. I just left the audio of what we were saying running underneath, just like a phone call, where you're simultaneously together and apart. Just like when you see your reflection in the mirror.
I'm not feeling very good.
I'm feeling fine.
Like this time last week, he was amazing. He cleaned 2 cars, and he was brilliant. And then, like, you see him like that, and I love him. I hate the Parkinson's. I could take that out and put it in a box and lock it away. That's what I'd love to do with it.
got a potential drug that could help Dad, we're not allowed to have it unless we pay for it in the middle. I don't get to do.
Sorry, I don't have to say sorry, it's fine.
Neurodegenerative brain disorder. There isn't anything they can do. I was crying, Dad was crying, and the nurse was crying.
I might start running.
Yeah, make sure you got proper trainers.
Oh, you're all crying?
Yeah.
Oh, why was the nurse
You
crying?
need to pair proper trainers.
Yeah.
We were crying.
Stir-fried vegetables in a pus. Pus?
No pass.
In a path.
Right.
Yeah, I was just giving you a call to ask how it went today.
We're still on the train at the moment. Can I call you when I get in?
Oh, okay, you going back home then?
Yeah, it didn't work, darling.
Oh, it didn't?
I think that would be the heaviest thing I'll have to carry downstairs all my life.
It's true.
You don't expect a lot of things to happen. For a while you think life's just, oh, one lovely straight line, here we go. And then something happens and then it's as if a kid's grabbed hold of that ruler you were using to draw the straight line with, and now it's shaky. And now the straight line starts to curve around the event, circling into confusion. And life's just like, yeah, you got a new life now. Here we go. And you're like, oh, what happened to the other one? That was fine. That was the one we had. That was the one we had. And life's like, yeah, no, I don't really know, to be honest, but this is your new one. And you're walking a different path now. And the hedges have sort of been trimmed down short enough, just short enough so you can see your other life over it. I imagine my mum and dad, when they were younger, like my age, would sort of walk around town holding hands and study other couples, older couples that walk past them and try to guess which one could be them. Couples who are 50 or 60 and laughing about what they'd be like at that age, and it always seeming like a lie, even trying to imagine being older. Because when you get married, you're not expecting to be spending your life now thinking so much about parts of the brain you didn't even know had names in your 20s. If you came across a fork in the road, that would only mean it's probably a bit of cutlery that's fallen off the catering van for the wedding.
Control with critical vehicle function. Discovery Houston, we're still looking at it. Good pictures.
Be in orbit.
Roll, Discovery.
So am I filming now? Right, go on then, do your stuff for a little bit. Everybody look like you're smiling. Smile.
Are we moving, Mum? Are we moving?
Everything changes. That message would be somewhat nicer if I could see what that actually was. What is it? A bear? Is this a bear?
That is an old lady with a bit of slug there.
That's a skull, isn't it?
Everything changes. Art?
Art? Question mark?
Art?
Anyway. This is the night. Those for who. Wait a second. Night.
frustrating for my mum and dad, for anyone and everyone in the world. We're all fighting our own battles, aren't we? It's just some of those battles do look like you are just laying down and watching TV. We all want people to sort of see under the surface and to understand and see how we're made, but also at the same time we don't want to seem broken. And I know it can be just as simple as asking people, how are you? I know, and I've tried, I know I just say things are fine. I went to the doctors the other day and he said, how are you? And I said, yeah, I'm fine, thanks. He said, why are you here then? But I just don't know how I can... so I've tried to sort of think, even in day-to-day life, if I'm out and about, I always like it when someone walks past and just smiles at me. It's such a nice, small little moment from another human you don't know. Just a reminder, an acknowledgement. We're all alive, we're all living our own lives, but here's a little message of just peace, and it's lovely. So I've tried doing that, but then I started thinking, oh God, what if I'm making it worse? Because I don't know exactly what context my smile is being received in from this other person. They could have just got off the phone from someone and they were told their rabbit has died, and now I'm walking past with a big goofy smile as if I'm happy about that, and I'm not. I'm unaware of whether Mr. Hops even exists. I've made him up and now I feel guilty. I don't know where this rabbit's come from. It's an example that's got out of hand in this circumstance. Going away is often the first step to coming back. Clear the throat if you're going to do a nature documentary. Humans can get lost so easily because there's so many ways to be found. A giraffe has 0 ways to be found, and so has 0 ways of getting lost. You never see a giraffe and think, that guy's lost. It's always just a giraffe. And so you return, eventually, for the morning.
Morning, countryside.
I wondered what you were doing in Dreamland, because you were laughing, chortling in your sleep.
Sorry, I didn't realise I was chortling.
Rolling over and going... and then mumbling something like you just had an affirmation of saying
I didn't realise I'd chortled.
Can you not remember what that dream was?
No, it was horrible. It was like time travelling.
In the morning we took a little trip out to a seaside town, and everyone is fighting their own battles, unless, you LARP, then you are doing loads.
We've come to the beach, but are they LARPing?
Oh, there we go. Good old hangs about to take place.
Why are they doing this? They hang someone, it's still LARPing.
A LARP too far.
I'll throw the latest. What is happening? Is it beginning? Goodbye, parents. Goodbye. The rest of the extended family jumps back. We've come to a nice little... oh wow, they've really done us a job. Why did everyone tell us to go down? What is happening?
Because, this is the thing about humanity, is you and me could just go and dance, but we won't. Because I think in their hearts, play inspirational music over this, I think in their hearts, everyone wants to be the person to go over there and dance and to connect with people on a more human level. And all you need to do is be that person to start off. Because once there's one person there, another will come, and another, and then eventually we're all joined in around the world holding hands.
The rest of the family have gone to get a coffee. We've decided to just go for an explore instead.
Make sure to get some vlog foley of that lovely clanking that lets you know you're...
Guys, I'm just going to get some lovely vlog foley of some of this lovely clanking. Just listen out for this. And I think maybe I'll get some more later, but keep your eyes out. Ears. Is that enough foley?
Yeah.
Sweet. Move on. Move out.
Too close for it to be...
Oh, it'll peak for sure!
So we're laughing because we know there's a future comedy, and when you listen to that back, it's like... This is the one we were looking for. No rust, no south. No! Oh, can fly. Whoa! Big waves on campus.
Where are you going? It's too cold for you! He's back!
really relaxing to be by the sea sometimes.
The seagulls are trying to tell us something, I'll subtitle them in. It's not sounding good. Take the camera. You got it? You got it? Yeah. Thank you, seagulls, thank you for the support.
There's your camera. Cheers, my lovely. Be very, very careful.
Alright.
That is beautiful. Look at
That is amazing.
There's a bike down there.
It's just drowning.
Where's the bike? Oh, there.
Right there. I know how it feels, buddy.
Goodbye, bike, no longer as an owner. Oh, mate, the view from up there.
Yeah, they're hanging him.
You will be trying tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow I go back to uni.
Afterwards, we drove to see this giant on a hill. We all got a nice family photo in front of him.
Wow.
Afterwards, there was a gift shop and they were selling a keyring which had the giant on, and I thought it was so strange because it was just a small image, and the whole point was to see this massive giant. And now you're just walking around telling your friends, look, I got a tiny naked man in my wallet, and that won't seem impressive. It won't do the giant justice. In a retelling of this thing we all experienced, it would be almost incomprehensible. The keyring will never equal the experience behind it. The experience can feel huge, and how do the girth of experience will only ever become a representation. You feel like you might be doing all these giant moments in your life a disservice, and how they appear. You want to show everyone exactly how it was, and all you can describe is the feeling, and you can beat yourself up over that because you can't get close to the actual thing. But you can never get close to the actual thing. You just hope this keyring will be enough. Of course, it can't comprehend everything, but it's something to hold on to.
What journey have you been on?
Just a little something I learned from a giant and his penis on a hill. My parents are going to watch this.
Right, should we go?
If you were confident about it, you'd just ring him up and be like, John, I've locked myself out, deal with it.
Facing my demons and you're my demon.
Yeah, John, you're a demon. And then you hang up immediately. John, you demon.
Hi, you demon.
You can pull him back. Sorry.
I was facing my demons, I'm sorry, let me back in.
Hi, it's Mark. Hope you had a nice weekend away. I was just calling to ask if I can talk about the beer situation with my keys. I'm still currently locked out.
Yeah.
The weekend after, we visited a cave because the previous weekend, you see a public hanging. The next weekend, just to take the edge off, let's plummet ourselves into darkness. It was also Easter, so we wanted to spend our time thematically the same as Jesus would have inside a cave.
Yeah, just Legos.
15,000 people used to live in the tunnels during World War II when they were used as air raid shelters, and it became almost like an underground city. Found out that they built a church and a cinema down there because, life carries on You probably just had to, you know, make sure you sang quite quietly at church, and if you're going to watch a film, put the subtitles on.
That's not good. That's not reassuring. Is that in there?
Is he one in there?
Later in the cave's history, Jimi Hendrix was down there doing a concert. Just the same location can hold so many different things. There's Nazi bombers and now guitar solos. Even in life, you can feel absolutely hopeless in one moment, and then suddenly in the next, no, I'm fine now. I've got so much hope in me, I could burst. You could burst me. Don't burst me. Interesting, isn't it? Two very contradicting ideas, just all bubbling about up there. Deal with that, brain. The cave managed it, fine. World War II bombings, and then later they just ended up filming Doctor Who, running around chasing monsters. Decades after, I should clarify, not at the same time as the Blitz. The show hasn't been invented for another 20 years. That'd be very British, though, if they were filming Doctor Who. Keep calm and carry on, yeah, but not to that extent. Our tour guide mentioned that there were rumours of ghosts in the cave, which I thought, what rumours? Gary's cheated on Sharon again? Excuse me, I think I should be doing this tour? Apparently there were ghosts, which was exciting, but for a historical tour, did create trust issues, mentioning ghosts. You can't just walk around telling us all things that definitely won't happen. Around the corner there's a T-Rex made of gold, and straight ahead, happiness. There wasn't any ghosts. And for £12 admission, you know, I expect to be haunted. It was scary enough down there anyway. Not that I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I'm afraid of lots of them. Why would I be afraid of 0 ghosts? All grammar. But ghosts or not, when he said that the people in the caves lived down there for years without ever knowing when they would come up to see sunlight again, I just thought, how could you stay hopeful for so long when so much uncertainty is flying overhead? It's one of those things where what even is hope? Is it just asking, well, it can't get any worse, can it? Then said, well, no, don't tell me the answer. With certain diseases, like Parkinson's, which is a progressive disease, which doesn't mean it's just got a very modern outlook on the world. It means it gradually gets worse. You lose dopamine in your brain, like you lose light. It controls movement. And although you can take medicine, it's only ever trying to increase something that is rapidly decreasing. So you have to take more of it, and so you find yourself having to run faster the more tired you get to catch up with normality. The tour guide regularly told us to stay together in the cave, but you often find yourself trying to navigate your own way through the darkness, or trying to process the dark separately. Hands running against the rough cave walls, drops of rain coming through the ceiling, like how the kitchen tap drips. I remember when my mum told me my dad had Parkinson's 10 years ago. I was in the kitchen because I remember the tiles. My mum knelt down and she said, I'm going to look after us. I'm going to try my best. And I didn't even know what Parkinson's was. But just, do all adults get this? Is that what we're having for dinner? I think it's the only thing I remember from that year. And even if she didn't say it exactly like that, I'm going to look after us. She could have, because she has. Whether your light gets taken away, or there's ghosts, or you're getting creeped out by your own shadow, we just gotta be, I think we've got to be kind with our interpretations of the darkness. And also being in the cave and learning about it reminds you, you gotta be positive with life, because yeah, there are parts of life that can make you sad, but then there are other parts that can make you really sad. But, you know, as a whole, it is all quite shit.
Mum, the grumblies come in the dark.
Stop it.
Can you feel the grumblies, Mum?
Mum, can you feel the grumblies? The grumblies are coming, Mum. Is this part of the tour?
I've no idea.
What really gets into you is the anticipation here, ladies and gents. There's a good quote. Anticipation is both the mother and father of your fears. You are expecting my hands to be close to you.
I don't think I can see ghosts.
Can you, Ryan?
I think I can, man. So in the end, the grumblies didn't get us. And we all lived.
We all lived.
Not happily,
but we lived. Mum, is my grumbly dad?
Yeah, the grumblies got me with their juice.
Did he get grumbled?
I got grumbled, Mum. The grumblies got me with their powdery chalk fingers. Chalk on his back.
How old are you?
24. 24, Ryan, pleasure to meet you.
He said, hi Miles, thanks for the message. I'm still away and won't be back this week. We can work something out with your key upon my return. I said, no problem. Enjoy your weekend. Yes, I'll spend it in my maze.
What's the point of a maze? You get yourself lost. The maze belonged to a dude called King Henry VIII, and he owned a castle as well. Why have you got a maze in your back garden, you maniac? You maziac? Yeah, not everything's gonna be good. Like a sick beat. Everyone looks quite bored in old paintings, sort of just sitting there. Probably because it's the past and nothing's really going to happen for ages.
Henry VIII's arrow, as they said.
This is the living room where the king and his family would wait for the television to be invented. If you didn't invent something in the past, that probably would be quite embarrassing. It's just like, just mention anything and you would have done it. I wonder what that lot, the pastos, so what do they like being called that? I wonder what they thought the future held. Because when you look at the future, you often look at it as a place for change and hope and flying cars, and you get sort of TV beamed directly into your teeth. I don't know. But one event, these dogs on the walls, and now they're in the garden. Now you don't always want to get to the future. You just want to find a way to stay in this moment for a bit longer. Can we not just wait here? Because, like all time travellers know all too well, you don't always want to talk about the future in fear of how it'll affect the present. In the castle was a fountain people had thrown all their pennies into to make a wish, and I was going to, but I only had 20 quid, so it was annoying because I could see the fountain did have change for a 20, but I didn't really want to be just diving in there and sort of disrupting the wishes, really. The fountain didn't take card either, so I was going to write it a check, but then I didn't want to sort of put it in the fountain and then my wish just turns out all wet, which can happen, I think. So I ended up, when I got back home, doing a bloody bank transfer. Was it 1 penny? My wish. My wish, please. And the bank called me up and said there was suspicious activity, magical suspicious activity in my account. It was for a wish. By the time I explained everything, it took over an hour. By that point, everyone had stopped listening and just got on with their own lives. Hello? Yes, the other gentleman just put me through to you. I'm not the birthday candles, no, I'm the wishing well one. Well, I won't say what it was, otherwise in case it doesn't come true. No, there was no rainbow. Okay, well, next time I see a rainbow, I'll make sure that's the account number I use. So then we just went to the maze.
Oh, you're just going around in circles.
Yeah, it's a maze. Ryan, he didn't ask to be the leader, but he was appointed the maze leader when all of us were like, well, he's walking in front of us, so we all agree he's the leader, you're the leader, buddy. We're following the right wall. Does Mum not realise? She's back.
No, there's lots of things.
Most confusing 45 minutes in history in that maze, and I think with family, confusion it comes with how you express things, and I think with love as well. You gotta have love, but people don't all share love in the same way. Sometimes we doubt it's even there if someone doesn't follow the exact same patterns that you do, which is why it's also hard to do a maze as a family, because we've all got our own idea on how to get out of here.
On this side. Quite compact for a maze, isn't it?
This is silly. This is weird. I'm getting eaten by a vulture in a minute.
Together.
This looks familiar.
We're going further away from the centre, aren't we?
What?
We're going further away from the centre.
I know. Is it the left or the right you followed?
Oh, now they can't just leave us in here to die. There's got to be a way out. Follow the right wall in a maze and you'll get to the centre. Or is it the left? Oh, has he done it? He's bloody done it. We didn't get to the centre though. This is the this is the entrance.
Oh,
So we're going to the centre.
Oh, I'm not going in there again.
Should I get us out?
That's too many segues. Sometimes you just have to remember we're all in the same boat, which is reassuring advice, but I don't think the person who penned that realised that I would also be in that boat, sitting at the front with an oar. We're dead. Don't give the vlogger power. Mind the tree. And I couldn't be faulting Ryan's maze efforts, because apparently, under pressure, I forget my left, what's left and right. It happens. Right. I mean left, all right, I forgot my left and right. I'm getting confused. My arms are tired. Okay, we're doing good. Just push it down if we can. Oh, I've lost the thing, just, come on, grab it, quick. There's bushes on your head. Okay, we've hit into the bush.
We need to go left.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And right, left. I know. I paddle right to go left. Yeah, but I get confused with what I need to say and what I need to do. Okay, I've got it now. I know how to do it now. Sorry. Okay, left. Yeah, I know, guys. I know. Right. I'm paddling left.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, but I was just telling you so you knew. I knew. Should we drift forever?
Let's just drift for a little bit.
We're just going to drift forever, guys. Okay, that's fine.
It's quite nice. Let's have a little rest for a minute. Hold us here.
Left. Oh, right, sorry, I'm doing it again. We've done the same. Oh, we're gonna hit. Say something.
Think about doing something for so long that then when it comes time to actually doing it, it just seems like the weirdest thing. It's like, why would I do this thing now once when I've done it literally a million times already in my head? I've looked out of every window on a train and imagined every possible conversation. I've done them all already. I never have to have a chat again. I've developed a very successful franchise of screenplays based on the scripts that I write before I have a phone call with somebody. At night, I look up and monologue at the ceiling. If the walls could talk, shut up, walls, come on. Shh.
If I ever find that I've got a good idea, like when I was back at home, I finished working on a little script idea, very happy with it. Then I sent it to a friend and they said, this is kind of just a Shawshank Redemption set in space. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that can happen sometimes. It was annoying as well because I thought it was quite a clever idea. I mean, I guess it still was a little bit clever, because it wasn't clever quick enough. Hey, it's Nut Lover 95. When you get an idea, it's very easy to just be like, oh, this one's actually quite a good one. I'm excited to sort of never do anything with that one. Leave that there. I just think, yeah, soon. I'll do everything soon. Oh, what words are we going to say now? Get some thoughts out there onto this web platform. I wish I could be someone who could just speak just effortlessly, just from their soul. But I, speak from my mouth. Is this how all adults just walk around and live life? I can't be a man. I covered myself in margarine the other day. I'm but a boy. Oh, that's quite a big jump. Can I make that? I don't want to risk it with my camera, but I think I probably could make that across. I think I could probably, if I got a bit of a run up to it, I could do it. If I just back up here a little bit, I could probably make that quite nicely if I just get a little bit of a run up, keep backing up, keep backing up, keep backing up. I am now walking in the other direction. What can we say? Which sentence will take us to the right universe? Sometimes you just want to take a moment to pause for a minute to work it out. Which direction is going to minimise the confusion? Go left or right, backwards, slowly, by the sea, rest your head. Same, buddy. Same. Everyone wants to be able to say something, don't they? Especially if you're trying to help someone as well. Because help is not a very good word for what it's trying to achieve. Telling someone you need help never really sounds like you're trying to help. Like if someone says they're fine, but they're clearly not,
Like, what are you meant to do? Bundle them into the back of a white van and drive them to the help? That's not helpful. That's illegal. Because if someone says, how are you? That's normally them asking for you to lie now. You go, yeah, I'm fine. So maybe instead of saying that, to make it easier for people to talk about things, you should instead just start a conversation with, you're not fine. Sounds like a game show. You're not fine. And you can either go, whoa, no, what? I am. Or just sit in the silence and slowly let it finally understand you. You know what it is? I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. I don't know what to say. Fuck. I'm pissed off. I can't even say anything about it. I'm pissed off. All I can say is just, oh, I don't know what to say, which is like, you might as well just say nothing. I'm pissed off that I think it's a better idea to just have potential instead of actually just doing something you're scared of doing and it turning out bad. I'm pissed off that when I say something, I hate how it sounds. I'm pissed off that I physically feel the words get pulled back down my throat when I want to say something. I'm pissed off that I can't even... I'm pissed off I was so awkward at university. I'm pissed off that I overthink so much. I'm pissed off this sounds so melodramatic. I'm pissed off that I just disappeared into myself. I'm pissed off that I've wasted so much time. Pissed off, man. Pissed off. My dad has Parkinson's. I'm pissed off that my parents don't get the life they could have had. I'm pissed off I don't know how to calm things down. Pissed off. I'm pissed off that it's taken me so long to try and just say that I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off that saying you're pissed off isn't very productive. I'm pissed off, I keep saying I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off, I think such silly thoughts. I'm pissed off, I've been out here for so long. Pissed off that the other day I thought, I'm pissed off. Oh, I wish I still believed in that. Pissed off, my hands are so cold. Pissed off is all I can do. Pissed off is pissed off. Pissed off how good it feels just to say you're pissed off. Hello. Hello. It's just so strange, like, isn't it? All the thing when you remember all the things you used to believe in. I used to, as a kid, like I used to believe in a tooth fairy, Father Christmas, myself. It's the same with I used to believe in angels watching over us and tell people things later. But like I know we have that power. Like I don't want to wait for later. It's great if angels look over us, but humans can talk. And I don't believe that there are signs that, you know, show us the way, but I do know that every time I see something, it tends to remind me of someone. I see a view that I know that someone would appreciate, and the day that we stopped here and here, these empty seats where we should sit and talk one day, everything I see reminds me of someone I love. There's all those small experiences that sometimes make me think that life may have some sort of DNA to it, meaning it was meant just for us. an overheard conversation and there's a few words in there that stick in our mind for the rest of the day, or we receive a smile from a stranger that pulls us out of ourselves. And you don't have to worry about how you feel in these moments, because they are such small moments. You feel without thinking, and you speak without worry. And I think if we found a way to collect and save all these small moments, we may see that we've led an entirely different life altogether that's set in these quiet, small moments outside of confusion, that are akin to some sort of feeling of paradise. Where did this start? Maybe this was always meant to happen, being locked outside my door for what feels like 2 years. Or at least for about an hour. My bedroom door's been waiting for me for all these years, since the beginning of time, when the universe burst into being, gravity slowly gathering all the dust into clumps that became asteroids, and my door in between them and the dust. And the dust would become planets, and one of them our own, and from that dust would grow trees. A tree that I would try to climb up at the age of 12 and falling out of and cutting my knee and running back home. And the forest would become a clearing, and one of those trees would become a door. Floating through space, amongst the debris, with everything. I'm just heading to the train station because we've just started working on a new university project. We're doing a little documentary. Me and my friends are going to go and film some stuff about London and film some people in London. We should be getting on this train that's just about to leave, but Lillian, producer, and Ray, cinematographer, are running late.
What timing? What timing?
It was good being in London and filming things with my friends. All three of us are getting the exact same footage.
We're all getting the exact same footage. We don't need this much B-roll times 3. Lillian, Ray, Myles.
All three of us just going up to people and asking for interviews.
I haven't eaten for 2 days.
Tell him he looks good.
Oh, you look lovely.
Oh,
I'd just go amazing, I'd say.
There was a nervous sort of energy.
I lost their balloon.
Just made getting something as simple as a conversation on camera just seems so exciting for us.
1, 2, 3.
Well, I can tell you from what I've seen from other cities, nothing like London.
I'm in hell. Are you listening for this? What's your name?
Ray.
Ray?
Myles.
Myles. Myles? That's a nice name.
Thank you.
I've been singing from a little boy.
We met a lot of new people. And after a while, starting a conversation seemed like the strangest thing to have ever worried about.
They called me Gray. They called me Macius. It's me, Macius.
And as we finished our filming, I got a phone call.
Wait, so give me a sec. Where do you need to go from?
I need to go from Denmark Hill, which is an overground station, and I think I need to get to Victoria. That's the nearest.
Yeah, okay, I've got it. Give me a sec. I'm scrolling.
Is there a time of a train?
Victoria, yeah?
My parents were also up in London for a hospital appointment for my dad, and they said that for once they felt good about how things had gone.
I'll be there in about half an hour, probably.
All right, darling. See you.
Okay, see you in a bit.
so I went to meet up with them for lunch. I did first get lost in the train station though. I was just like, oh god, who was I ever kidding think I'd ever get anywhere? Of course, I'm just gonna be stuck in Victoria tube station for the rest of my life. Until then, obviously, I asked for help and it was fine.
Hey, is this the way out?
We are upstairs.
Okay, thank you. Hello, yeah, sorry, I'm literally just there. I got lost. I'm alright for the minute. I'll just wait here, thanks. Is that okay if I film? Is that okay if I film?
I just thought that was really encouraging when he said, you know, we need to get through the next 30 years. And he said, like, if we can put something in place so that we don't have to retire early. I mean, I know it'd be lovely to retire early, but that's a huge financial worry. And you've got a good job and you enjoy it. I don't think you went off once this morning. Touch wood, you're not too bad at the minute, are you? So you are a bit disappointed.
Yesterday I was fine. What's the situation?
Then he said, because Dad is so young, long term, he doesn't think drugs are going to be the answer. So a couple of options. We've got this morphine injection, which is a line that goes under the skin and it just infuses in. Reckons that if it worked, Dad can cut the drugs down by at least a third or not half. And of course the brain, it's not something to just jump into. How long did he say that? Like the evaluation of
6 months to evaluate.
Yeah, six months to evaluate.
What do they do? What do they actually do?
I've watched it and they put a frame on your head.
On YouTube?
Yeah, I watched it on YouTube.
Oh, electrocution.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is.
They put a frame on your head to keep your head still, and then you're awake. And then I think they make a small borehole with a hand drill into your head, and then they must put wires with electrodes in. And I think that's why you have to be awake, because they're talking to you the whole time. Because I suppose if your speech starts to slur, they know they've put it in the wrong place, or...
Head's clamped in a vice, so you can't move, obviously. You don't be moving about too much.
It goes under here with the battery, and that controls... I suppose in a way it's like electric shock in your brain, isn't it?
It's quite dramatic effect, isn't it?
I just feel so much more positive now. I'm so depressed and so like can't see a way out of this, and it's just so like shitty, to be honest. You know, it's like I said to you before, if it was like in a room, I'd have a pair of boxing gloves on and have a round with them. And like you're different. It's almost like two different people. When you're like this, you're out. And when the drugs aren't working, and obviously it must be horrible. I don't know what it feels like.
Oh yeah, we feel like
When I said to Dad the other night, we don't even talk to him sometimes. And Dad said, well, when I'm like that, that's as much as I can do to put one, concentrate to put one foot in front of the other. Last night he was cutting all this felt to put in my...
Felt?
No, he didn't cut anything that he shouldn't have cut.
As we finished speaking and eating in the restaurant, I had a lovely spaghetti pomodoro, thanks for asking. My mum reminded me of when I was 15 and I somehow managed to lock myself inside my bedroom, back at home. It's a very similar problem to my current one.
Chuck a screwdriver up the window and I'll catch it.
It's a very similar problem because it's almost the exact same problem, just the opposite sides of the same problem.
There
So Ryan, guess what my desktop wallpaper says at the minute? It's okay. It's not. What does Mum say? What a wally. Can you pass me a sandwich under the door? Just slip him in. I'm gonna break my arm. Night.
And then my parents just took the door off the hinges, which was quite nice.
Is that you, Dad?
And remembering that, finishing our drinks and then saying goodbye, getting on 2 different trains, one back to home and one back to university. I thought it'd be best to finally give my landlord a call and arrange a visit.
He's awake. Oh no.
Right, let's get a pair of keys. We're here. I think they're in here. Yeah, they're there. Driving back, I suddenly thought that we probably put quite a lot of pressure on windows, looking out at them and hoping we get some kind of new perspective. I've been looking out at car windows, train windows, looking out the sea, hoping I'm suddenly struck with a greater meaning, which is a lot. You're asking a lot from a window. So instead, heading back to our university house with an envelope of keys, I just looked out the window and thought, it's gonna be okay. Oh shit, no! And then it won't be. And then it will be okay. And then it won't be okay. And for some reason, admitting things might not be okay. I felt kind of hopeful. Because I know things will get tougher. And I'm proud of my parents, of how they deal with things. But it doesn't mean it'll all have to have a sad ending. Life, I don't think, is a place of collecting happy or sad moments and just seeing which one comes out on top at the end. Life's full of scenes, and each scene with its own ending. It all comes in waves. It'll be okay, and then it won't be okay, and then it'll be okay, and then obviously it won't be okay. But then, oh hang on, and even the words, just saying them over and over, began to sound like waves. And then my housemates who's driving, it's like, what are you doing? Are we in a conclusion now? No, we're in a car, Elliot. Keep your eyes on the road. Speak from your soul, or at least speak from your mouth. Don't feel too many things, or you will get kicked out of the museum. And I got much inside of me except silly string and anxiety. Pull my arm and I could cry or sing. From a distance is a wave of hollow rising in the It'll be okay, probably, and then it won't, so let's swim in the sea. Waves, 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 I left my bloody light on.
I woke up the other day and thought I was late for my paper round.
3 years too late. You think you have that drink quite a lot, don't you?
Yeah. It's just seared into my brain that I have to deliver the papers. When you do something for 8 years.
Did you have that long?
That's what happens. Yeah, I was the longest paperboy they ever had.
You didn't take
The Guinness Book of
The longest.